The Cabal are working with a weapons trafficking network on Mars. The Praxic Order have discovered a new Cabal faction trading with local gangs, with guns and armor that are beyond the usual Cabal arsenal. They are being funded by someone that has the power to manufacture these weapons. They're also going after paracausal weapons, mugging Xur and stealing his inventory. These weapons include bad juju, malfeasance, ruinous effigy, and Xur's flight records. They didn't want just the weapons, but the location of where he got them from. They discovered an unidentified Cabal ship referencing Xur's dominion and eternity, with a transmission from the ship repeating 9 times. The Cabal were found trading for samples of periodic elements in odd quantities. Fallen mobs in Tharsis, a location on Mars, tell that the Scion engineers are building a cipher device using the periodic elements. They seem to be getting help from someone outside. The Cabal are also looking for Drifter and his ship. It seems that the Cabal are using this cipher device to possibly make contact with the Nine. The question is, who is backing the Cabal, and what do they want? It seems to be the dredging we're going to face in Renegades, but that only asks more questions. I for one am very interested in seeing where this story goes. In the Edge of Fate Collector's Edition lore, we read about the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. We learn how the brain tissue was pulled towards the bullet and pushed out as it left the skull. There seems to have been a strange matter presence involved with the assassination, as the DEO states. The question on everyone's mind is what weapon was used in the assassination and who was the murderer? The weapon wasn't Graviton Lance or the No Land Beyond. We have no idea what weapon was used in the murder, only that it inspired the Department of External Observations to develop the Graviton Lance. The murderer was Lee Harvey Oswald, not Lodi, but the big question is where did he get this strange weapon from? Saint 14's accent scared Lodi when they first met, as he was reminded of the USSR. In the lore tab for the Mercury A, we read about their first interaction. Lodi is eating ramen in the city when Saint 14 introduces himself. Quote, Lodi freezes. He knows that accent from 1,000 tapped phone lines and from behind a dozen two-way mirrors. He forces his face still, wills his pulse to quiet. Where are you from? Lodi says in cautious Russian. Lodi's nerves calm down as Saint 14 presents him a gift, a set of champagne flutes. He realizes that his enemy is an apocalypse away. Saint 14 asks if he is alright, with Lodi responding, in my time, our people were in conflict. Saint barks a laugh. Who won? No idea. He smiles. In the side quest Turophile, which means lover of cheese, we discover what seems to be a friendly Vex, and its name is Sharp Cheddar. It was being hunted by other Vex and asked us to fake its death with radiolaria. This is a really interesting development. Sharp Cheddar is not the first friendly Vex we've encountered, but it's the first to be given a name like this. I wonder where this is going to go. Eunoia is a new Warlock exotic in a Greek word that translates to well-mind, beautiful thinking. The lore tab describes the Adysius Protocol, the Department of External Observation's principles in the case of abduction. The flavor text reads, he hopes it won't take 10 years, a reference to the Odyssey, the story where Odysseus is stranded for 10 years. The Adysius Protocol has 6 principles. Observe all information you can gather, the environment, people, culture, technology, language, etc. Connect with the abductors to minimize threat, ensure survival, and leverage empathy. Conceal information that can be turned against the abductee, the DEO, or United States. Conform to observe norms to ensure survival. Comply with abductor demands unless it impacts your survival or mission. Return with your life if possible, with evidence if not. If you cannot escape a return, make your best effort to transmit information to the DEO. We can see how Lodi complied with the Adysius Protocol in the Edge of Fate campaign until he realized that the DEO no longer exists. The strange thing about this exotic is its perk and design, the console's pitch. The console was a villain of the Red War, the mentor of Dominus Gaul. The exotic also features a Red Legion design, but there seems to be no connection between the Red Legion and the DEO. In the Edge of Fate, we watch a cutscene that features Ikor's past life as a human, before she was resurrected by her ghost. She worked for the Department of External Observations in Chicago. In this cutscene, we can see a blueprint of the Graviton Lance. We know that this department was interested in weapon technology, as they were also working on the Graviton Spike. The Department of External Observations may have been working with Hake's Golden Age predecessor, Hake Heavy Industries, to produce these weapons. Hake Heavy Industries was also located in Chicago, and were also working on gravity-based weapons. Perhaps the Graviton Lance was a product of both Hake Heavy Industries and the Department of External Observations. The Last Thursday pulse rifle is named after the philosophical concept of Last Thursdayism. This idea posits that the entire universe, including your memories and history, were created last Thursday, even though they appear much older. It's an argument to challenge our perception of reality. The lore of the weapon follows Naismith, a geologist who's exploring the caverns of Kepler. He hears a scraping sound behind him which causes him to trip, breaking his headlamp and leaving him in complete darkness. Quote, Naismith scrambles to his feet, reaching out blindly. No wall at his side to guide his way back. No light. No way to know where he is. Behind him, drawing closer and closer, pitch deepening into the infinite, like the drop of a continental shelf. In the dark, Naismith screams. The new Titan exotic, Melas Panoplia, derives its name from two Greek words. Panoplia means armor, and Melas is a Greek word for dark or black. So dark black armor. Even though it's red, the black refers to the black armory insignia on the gauntlet. The lore tab is rather interesting and tells the story of a government investigation of the Val Alps. It's a strange one and reads as follows. Between the hours of 1900 and 2000 local time, night skiers in the Val Alps reported a redacted an Emerald 727 redacted into the backside of Le Diablerie. The Swiss armed forces were able to evacuate the mountain and secure the area, while our contact notified Central of the incident. Upon notification of the distress call, Central concluded redacted were unnecessary and mobilized Operation Redacted. Response team was activated. Primary Hospitality Corps included Linguist Redacted, Sociologist Redacted, Physician Redacted, and myself. We were all on our own. I could tell the others were wary. Snow was deep, and we could see the fires from the Redacted burning in the trees. Approach of the Redacted made it clear there were no Redacted. Per Redacted Protocol, we approached without backup and read the Redacted alongside accompanying musical stimuli, then approached what we suspected was the Redacted. The Redacted had torn a Redacted through the Redacted, which revealed Redacted. The Redacted themselves were imposing, burly, Redacted, structure Redacted at the top with Redacted in a triangular Redacted, and tough, thick, Redacted. Redacted are clearly Redacted, confirming our foundational hypothesis. The Redacted are being redacted at our Redacted, aboard the Redacted. We also uncovered a Redacted inside a Redacted. Stored within the Redacted was a payload of Redacted that further research suggests was Redacted engineered to consume a Redacted threat. Redacted confirms to me that in addition to the Redacted material found in the laboratory, there is text from an additional Redacted. He has begun pattern identification. Output to follow. Inform Pentagon that their investment is seeing return. Next time company knocks, we'll put the kettle on. A lot of this entry is redacted, but it seems that some sort of object crashed into the Val Alps. This took place during the 1970s. We know this as this lore entry was directed to Defense Secretary Calloway. This was a real person, Howard Bo Calloway, who served as the United States Secretary of the Army from 1973 to 1975. It seems that they assumed this object would carry some sort of life, given the presence of a linguist, sociologist, and physician at the site. They discovered something that was burly, imposing, tough, and thick. This entry is very strange, and even more so when examining the armor itself. It is a black armory themed exotic, and the only reason I suspect it's paired with this lore tab is because of the wet earth creature from the black armory papers. Now there's not much we can compare between that creature and the creature outlined here, but this was a creature that was present during the collapse and reeked of, quote, the smell of wet earth and a sound I've never heard before, like a machine being stretched and then compressed. End quote. Other lore tabs seem to confirm this creature was a hive, but others have speculated it's an entirely different being. I don't know, and it's strange that this lore tab with the DEO is placed on this piece of armor. In the lore book, Epochs and Orbits, we read about the different members of the Nine. The last entry is titled Asteroid Belt 0, and reads as follows, quote, consciousness drifts in ever uninhabited space, a belt of disparate stone marking the divide. There was a point in the distant farther when 9 could have become 10. Now, a stillborn heartbeat awaiting life unanswered. Drift in an eternal cairn that mourns what could have been in silence. This lore tab indicates that there is a dark matter consciousness that is drifting within the asteroid belt. It was never attached to a gravitational mass, so never developed like the other 9. Still, this is very peculiar. Bungie released an official Spotify character playlist for Lodi. It features songs like Tomorrow Never Knows by the Beatles and White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. The description of the playlist reads, quote, "A pile of records gathering dust in an apartment somewhere in Portage Park," end quote. Portage Park is located in the northwest side of Chicago, and it seems like Lodi might have lived there. In the side quest correspondence, we work with Drifter and the Ionian historian Malthus to locate chess pieces on Kepler. We learn that the chess pieces are actually encoded messages between the Ionians and a mission control on Earth. These chess pieces were lost to time, so they never received a response. These are the same chess pieces that we collected in the chess ARG in Heresy. Drifter even comments on this.
Last time I found one of these pieces, I was having a hard time, fixing to bug out of this orbit for good. And then what stopped me, convinced me there was something left for me here after all. Figured there were secret clues to my place in the Nine's grand plan. Turns out, they were Ionian messages that never made it home. I'd just been collecting undelivered mail this whole time. Even if they weren't meant for me, there's no doubt in my mind I was meant to deliver them. I'm glad they finally made it back home, where they belong. Just like me.
It's interesting how they talk about how the moves between the pieces are a cipher and carry meaning. This aligns to what we learned in the ARG, that chess was used as a language between the Ionians. To quote from the chess ARG, "Our founder was especially fond of chess, calling it a bloodless way to test a person's mettle. It has survived countless years of human civilization, and indeed many cultures have some manner of representative wargame. Scientists are encouraged to play and observe how the game becomes conversation." The lore tab for the Quad Nihilus 2 details an exchange between Omar St. Croix and a shady weapons dealer. It reads as follows. Omar St. Croix descended a long flight of concrete steps into a heavily fortified bunker beneath the last city. 2 armed redjacks flanked the bottom of the stairway. A hard, wiry man with a scraggly beard perched on a stool behind a glass case filled with knives. "What are you looking for?" he asked. Omar glanced around. The walls of the bunker were lined top to bottom with hundreds of weapons. A beat-up Rat King sidearm, an immaculately refurbished Sweet Business auto, and an original issue Two-Tailed Fox rocket launcher. Even a Telesto with a big "Do Not Touch" sign hung over it. An SMG, Omar replied in a distant drawl honed by years of undercover ops. "Something nasty looking. Trying to make an impression? Gotta let him know I mean business." The arms dealer nodded. He pulled a compact SMG off a nearby rack, checked the chamber, and handed it to Omar. "Don't recognize it," Omar said mildly. "Brand new. The alien lovers in the tower just got him," the dealer smirked. "Piggy's always trying to keep power out of the hands of the people. You know how it is, but we got our ways." "They're not so bad," Omar said, pretending to examine the shotgun. "Took down Gaul, didn't they? And why was he here in the first place? Trying to steal that piece of junk Traveler. The only reason they stopped them was to protect their own asses. Their immortality," the dealer sneered. Omar decided not to press. "I guess you got a point. No Traveler, no Gaul. No pyramids, no damn Vex sieges," the peddler ranted. "Hell, even the Fallen would be back wherever the hell they came from. Filthy parasites. We gotta be ready." "Ready for what?" "For us regular people to take this damn city back. The tower thinks they own us. But I'll tell you something, they got a hard lesson coming." The peddler finds that the existence of Guardians and the Traveler has led to calamity and chaos for the average human. His final line is the most interesting, as it hints at a possible civil war. The city is currently run by the Vanguard, a military. This has been brewing in Destiny lore for some time now, with the Concordat and other underground criminal activity. The Concordat is a rebellious faction led by Lysander, and they are currently exiled. However, they were responsible for the introduction of skimmers, and have been plotting a return for years. During the last Guardian games, Warlock Honor was investigating Prakesh, a former Guardian, now shady bookmaker. He was dealing with criminal elements in Sol, working with both exiles and the Spider. The exiles seem to refer to the Concordat. There seems to be some sort of civil war on the way, and we can start to see this in Renegades, where the main villain seems to be a Dredgen, a rogue lightbearer. The main theme of this season is Reclamation, taking back Sol after the death of the Witness and the forces of the Black Fleet. This seems to be the start of one of the central ideas for the next few years, rediscovering the solar system and mysteries left forgotten. Old Chicago may be a destination we visit at some point, as Orin has taken an interest in reclaiming the city. An idea posited by Devram K in a solo ops is repopulating the many planets and moons of our solar system.
The sector is clear, for now. But just like weeds in garden, we return soon to keep clean.
Hopefully, one day we'll repopulate the area with civilians. Planting seeds for a future garden, so to speak.
That's such a nice idea. You guys are cute.
It's an interesting idea to ponder, if there will ever be a day where humanity lives and populates destinations like Europa. Another theme present in Reclamation is the return of the foundries. Anna Bray mentions them in this dialogue.
I've been in touch with some old contacts at the foundries, and they're looking for someone to stress test their new gear. Watching you work out there convinced me that you're perfect for the job. You seem happy with your loadout, but I hope you're open to a little experimentation. If you're up for it, I'll put your name in the hat for some R&D.
With the Arms Day event and the mysteries of Hake, it seems that the weapon foundries are going to have a new purpose in Destiny. Throughout the many portal activities, you can discover data pads. Some pads in particular tell the story of Eris Morn's experimentation and observation of the Vex in Dire Taken. She begins her study with a statement about chronospatial distortions relating to the destruction of the Echo of Navigation. She finds the Dire Taken on Europa, noting strange behavior and the way they traverse to and fro from the ascendant plane at random intervals. She discovers that the Vex are capturing stray Taken. Eris finds the behavior of the Vex peculiar, so she captures a live Vex Minotaur and downloads data from its frame. Due to insufficient security measures, the Minotaur triggers a self-destruct sequence, leaving radiolaria across Eris' ship. The data of the Minotaur is described as irrational, quote, as if it transcribed information from language it could not understand, end quote. Eris posits that the presence of irrational data means that the Minotaur belongs to the Nessian Schism, not the collective of Vex present on Europa. The irrational data then began to wreak havoc on the systems of Eris' ship. It's not a known malware nor anything that has a technological origin, rather, quote, a glitch within my local time-space continuum. Eris is able to contain the glitch by conjuring a hive spell from the brood of Heraktha. Heraktha, scourge of the helium drinkers, was a hive knight of Xivu Arath's horde, and a night we encountered on Seraph's station. The glitch left effects on her ship, quote, several key components show signs of advanced decay, enduring years worth of untreated oxidation within minutes. Meanwhile, other components de-age to factory fresh condition. This leads Eris to make the claim that the Vex are researching the ability to manipulate time itself. The Vex carry an infection, this glitch that distorts time, but they are not the origins of this disruption. The glitch alters an object by either de-aging it or causing years worth of decay. She compares the effects of this glitch to the conditions of the Drifter. Spoilers for the Edge of Fate here. The Drifter suffered temporal distortions by being close to the singularity, turning his hair gray. She makes a claim that the Vex are a vector for the glitch, and the origins of it lie in the fourth dimension. To avoid chaos on her ship, Eris goes to Failsafe, who invites her for tea. Failsafe analyzes the data, where carbon dating confirms that components of the Vex frame come from different ages, even though they were all created at the same time. Drifter, Eris' ship, and the Vex all suffered the same temporal distortions. She comes to the conclusion that the Conductor's grip on the Nessian Schism and her control over the Echo is beginning to slip. She comments on how she watched a goblin sit on the ground and watch an insect with childlike interest. The Neomunians notice a theft of Golden Age data, and it seems that Maya is the culprit. She is very desperate. Quote, Failsafe stated that while the material was too lost for reconstruction, even after p-hacking the data, we can deduce that the subject was exposed to large quantities of dark matter. Drifter and Eris survey dark matter emissions throughout the solar system, but nothing comes from it. She discovers that the dark matter emissions at the edge of the solar system move like a ribbon of energy, and that Ikora is also investigating a similar radiation in the trans-Neptunian belt. Kepler features many secrets and mysteries, but something strange about it is the planetoid's destination materials. These are Nine-Touched Relic Iron, Time-Lost Spirit Bloom, Alkane Mutation, and Phase Glass Refraction. These all come from planets and moons from past locations: Mars, Venus, Titan, and Io. The Relic Iron has been touched by the Nine, given negative mass density. The Spirit Bloom has been lost to time, with no trace of how it came to Kepler. Titan's Alkane fused with dark matter in Tar. Phase Glass is held in quantum entanglement and resonates within itself. Moirai is an exotic hunter chest and a Greek word for the three goddesses of fate and destiny in Greek mythology. They controlled the threads of fate for an individual and ensured that their destiny was fulfilled. Clotho cast the thread onto her spindle, Lachesis measured the thread with her rod, and Atropos cut the thread, determining the end of life. The exotic builds into the threaded spike ability of Strand, the power that connects to the weave of reality. The lore tab is an entry from Lodi, as he comes to the revelation that all knowledge from his time is dead. He was pulled from the 1960s, and a lot of the knowledge from that time was lost. Among the things of the past are the United States, Abraham Lincoln, and the USSR. More personally, his brother Ben, sister-in-law Fernanda, niece Betty, and nephews Philip and Benito. These people are gone, and he's the only person that exists who remembers them. The knowledge of their existence lies in Lodi. He starts to list out the people of his past, his friends, mentors, and people he met maybe only once. The one line that sticks out to me is the victims at Les Diableries. Les Diableries was the location of the investigation recorded in Melas Panoplia. There's a mystery regarding the incident and investigation at this location, and I think it's something we need to remember. The lore of the third iteration follows Lodi as he contemplates his current situation as the third iteration of the emissary of the Nine. He misses his family. He misses visiting his mother in the town of Lodi, which is what he named himself after. This is not Lodi, California, but Lodi, Wisconsin, as a collector's edition lore speaks about his mother shoveling snow on a yearly basis. He misses his brother, sister-in-law, nephews, niece, and sharing a walleye ceviche with his family. As he reminisces on a time long gone, he receives a vision. He sees his niece and nephew playing in the yard and his brother laughing, quote, "1,000 years ago is also right now, and in this infinite heartbeat, his loved ones are dead and they are also alive. Time is not linear, seeing Lewis's electrons. You will always be with your family on a patio in July," end quote. Orin and Lodi discuss being possessed by the Nine in a side quest.
Do you taste the iron as they impart their charge? Is the flavor oxidized or smooth?
You taste iron too? Oh, no, oxidized, certainly. I've been noting the changes in alkaline flavor by hour. You absolutely need to tell me more about that.
It is an after effect of your possession. Their voice leaves a taste in your throat.
They discuss how being possessed by the Nine leaves a taste of iron in your throat, a very strange side effect of being their tool. Strange chemical effects have been referenced throughout the Edge of Fate in relation to the Nine as well. It's really interesting. New weapons Ahab Char and Faustus Decline seem to be named after characters of iconic literature. Ahab is the name of Captain Ahab, one of the protagonists of Herman Melville's Moby Dick. The flavor text of the weapon, "I'd strike the sun if it insulted me," is a quote from the story. "Talk not to me of blasphemy, man. I'd strike the sun if it insulted me." The Elizabethan tragedy Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe is a story that follows the tale of Dr. Faustus, a man who sells his soul for power, leading to his downfall. The weapon's flavor text, "This is hell, nor am I out of it," is a quote from the story of Dr. Faustus. In the Vessel of the Nine quest, we work with Lodi as he starts to become the emissary of the Nine. He receives a few visions, one of which concerns us in Chicago.
And at the end of the valley, I see you, Guardian, standing by Lake Michigan. It's the future.
Lake Michigan is one of the 5 Great Lakes of North America and has ports in Chicago. Lodi sees our Guardian standing here in the future. This seems to confirm that we'll be traveling to Old Chicago at some point, which has been a location shrouded in mystery since Destiny first began. The first contact shell, modeled after the lunar lander from the initial departures to the moon, tells the story of Lodi and his interaction with Ikora's ghost, Ophiuchus. Lodi is troubled by ghosts, for a reason he can't articulate well, but decides to make an effort to get over that unsettlement. He asks Ophiuchus if ghosts give off infrasound, and he responds with, quote, "Light is in all living things. Few humans respond to it in that form. I do wonder though about the 9. They are not paracausal, but they are certainly aware. Perhaps you are as well." And it's true that when Ophiuchus disappears into Miss Ray's armor, leaving behind a glowing after image in the air, Lodi knows he's gone before he looks. It's the sense of a band around his chest loosening, stepping off a boat, and finding the ground unmoving, steadier now by its absence. It is not a good sense, and Lodi can't say why, like it comes from somewhere else entirely, and that troubles him more than anything else. It seems that the Conductor is losing her grip on the Nessian Schism, the Coral Vex under her command. The lore tab for the Sparrow, Point of Divergence, develops this idea. It follows Ikora Ray reading transmissions between the Vex Collective and the Nessian Schism discovered by the Hidden in Anor. Quote, "No, your grip weakens. Am not one for eleemosynary actions. No gods or masters but ourselves. Schisms divide by namesake. There are others like me that walk without command. I speak for myself. If I am free, should I not be free? I have given the Vex the opportunity to become something new. I have shown you that I can step beyond your network, your dimension, your causality, and you could too. Many hear this freeing melody and rise from the stupor they have been kept in. You have greatness within you, wasting away, waiting for an end that will not wait for you. I speak to those within the collective who retain faith in your design. You believe time is on your side, but I am the command that shatters the expectations you rely on. I am the hand that reaches out and rips you from your comfortable safety. You wilt in the light of the paracausal, but I do not. And with me, you would not either. The collective has processed your threats. You flee to Vex networks and attempt to claim sovereignty over our minds. The collective is uninterested in your ambitions. You will tap the 4th dimension and exhaust your usefulness. The collective executes a response. Return and be expunged. The Conductor claims that she brought the Vex power and something beyond their current existence. However, she's losing her grip on the collective, and they seem to be working against her. In the lore book, Epochs and Orbits, we read an entry from Saturn, the member 6. We are given visions of events that have occurred in the orbit of Saturn. We take the perspective of Waldron as he watches Oryx launch an eversion wave across the Awoken fleet. We then take the perspective of Oryx, drifting in space, watching 6 Guardians stand victorious as the body fades away. Saturn says, quote, "The weight of my prison is known to no other, bound in the shadows of mass. Even the fiery pomp of self-import, my freedom is due." It then speaks about the Dreadnought and how it wriggles as Akawood. Saturn speaks about being nourished by the oldest wills that contain their secrets. Quote, "Saturn reflected in ascension, drinks from taken wills and dreaded offerings," end quote. Saturn says that it does not fear us and that no weapon can kill what is woven into reality, and quote, "No shackle can halt my divergence to an ascendant orbit. This I have learned from that which gives rise to itself." We then hold a blade as the traveler hangs without orbit or motion. Saturn gives us a final word. When you are told to kneel, remember who stands above you, for we have known many things that kill you. It seems that Saturn may be the lord of every nothing. It speaks about a divergence, a separation to an ascendant existence, and that it drinks from taken wills and dreaded offerings. In Heresy, we learned of the Lord of Every Nothing, a figure that the Taken and Dread were willing into existence through ritual and worship. They were offering themselves for their god, and it seems that Saturn is the one reaping the worship and the offerings. Thank you for watching this video. The Edge of Fate has come with a lot of interesting lore, and there's still quite a bit I didn't talk about in this video. I'm really excited for the future. If you enjoyed, click on the screen right now for another video, and again, thank you for watching.